Welcome back to Bible in a Year, making it easier to understand. I'm John.
And I'm Stephanie. And John, we need to talk. We need to talk about day 14. Because I was reading along, getting into the story of Joseph, the coat, the dreams, the jealous brothers. It felt like a movie. And then, screeching tire sound effect, we hit Genesis chapter 38.
We talk every day, Steph. What's up? Yes, the interruption.
Interruption is putting it mildly. It felt like someone changed the channel in the middle of a show. We go from Joseph being sold into slavery to Judah getting married, and then there's death and deception and a daughter-in-law posing as a prostitute. I honestly had to reread it to make sure I wasn't hallucinating. Why is this here?
You are definitely not alone in that reaction. A lot of first-time readers hit Genesis 38 and go, wait, did the printer mess up the pages? But here's the kicker, Steph. It's not a mistake. It's actually one of the most brilliant pieces of storytelling in the entire Bible.
Okay, you're going to have to prove that to me. Because right now, it just looks like a mess.
Challenge accepted. But before we get to the scandal of Judah, we have to set the stage with Joseph in chapter 37. Because these two stories, Joseph and Judah, are actually happening at the same time. It's a split screen.
Okay, so let's start with Joseph. He's 17, he's the favorite, and he has this coat.
The coat of many colors. Or as Broadway would say, the amazing Technicolor dream coat. It was red and yellow and green and brown. Exactly. But, and I hate to ruin the musical for you, the Hebrew phrase here, ketonet pasim, doesn't necessarily mean many colors. Don't you dare. I have to. Most scholars agree it actually means a tunic of long sleeves, or a tunic reaching to the palms and ankles.
Okay, that sounds less exciting than Technicolor. Why does that matter?
Think about manual labor in the ancient world. If you're out in the fields, wrestling sheep, digging wells, what are you wearing? Probably something short? Like a t-shirt and shorts equivalent? Right. You need freedom of movement. You wear a short tunic. But a long tunic, with sleeves that cover your hands? That is the clothing of someone who doesn't work. That is the clothing of management.
Oh. So when Jacob gave Joseph that coat, he wasn't just giving him a fashion statement, he was putting him in charge. Jacob was effectively telling the older brothers, grown men in their 30s and 40s, hey, your 17-year-old little brother, he's your boss now. No wonder they hated him. Imagine showing up to your job and the CEO's teenage son walks in wearing a suit and starts taking notes on your performance.
Exactly. And the text says Joseph brought a bad report to his father. He was the snitch. So the hatred wasn't just petty jealousy. It was about status. They felt displaced. And that leads us to the pit.
Which is heartbreaking. They throw him in a cistern, and then they sell him. And notice who suggests selling him. It was Judah, right?
Bingo. Reuben, the oldest, wanted to save him. But Judah says, what profit is it if we kill him? Let's sell him. It's cold. It's calculated. It's capitalism over brotherhood. It's awful. And then they take the coat. They take the ketonet pasim. And this is crucial, Steph. They dip it in goat's blood. And they bring it to their father Jacob and say, recognize this.
Recognize. That's a heavy word.
It's a karmic word. Remember day 10? How did Jacob deceive his father Isaac? He wore his brother Esau's clothes, and he put goat skins on his arms. Boom. Jacob deceived his father with a goat and a garment. Now his sons deceive him with a goat and a garment. The deceiver is deceived. It's the Bible saying, you reap what you sow.
Wow. I didn't catch that parallel. That is masterful writing, but also terrifying.
It is. So, Joseph is sold. He goes down to Egypt, and the camera cuts away. We leave Joseph in chains, and suddenly we zoom in on Judah in chapter 38. And the text says, Judah went down from his brothers. Went down. Just like Joseph went down to Egypt? Yes, but Joseph was forced down physically. Judah goes down morally. He leaves the family. He marries a Canaanite woman. He starts assimilating. He's basically trying to forget he's part of the covenant family. He's running away.
He's running away from the guilt of selling his brother, and this is where things get messy. He has 3 sons, Onan, and Shelah, and is wicked, so God puts him to death, which, again, sparse details but scary. And then we get to the part that confused me the most. Onan.
Yeah, this is a tough one. Judah tells Onan to go marry his brother's widow, Tamar. Was that normal? Because today that sounds, well, illegal. Today, yes. Back then, it was essential. It's called levirate marriage. The word comes from the Latin levar, meaning brother-in-law. Okay, break it down for me. Why was this a rule? Imagine there's no Social Security, no 401k, no life insurance. If your husband dies and you have no son, you are destitute. You have no legal standing. You effectively cease to exist in society. That's terrifying. It is. So, levirate marriage was like a mandatory backup generator for the family. If the main power grid, the husband, fails, the backup generator, the brother, must kick in to keep the lights on. He marries the widow, and this is the key part. The first son they have doesn't belong to the second brother. Legally, that baby is considered the son of the dead brother.
So, the dead brother's line continues, and the dead brother's inheritance goes to that baby. Ah, I think I see where this is going.
Right. Onan isn't wicked because of the mechanics of what he did. He's wicked because he was greedy. He knew that if Tamar had a son, that son would get the inheritance, the double portion. If Tamar didn't have a son, Onan would get the money. So he used her. He used her for intimacy, but refused to give her the status and security of a child. He wanted the pleasure without the price. It was financial fraud and emotional abuse wrapped into one. That's why God judged him.
Okay, that makes sense. It wasn't just a bodily function rule, it was a heart issue. He was being selfish.
Extremely selfish. He was effectively stealing his dead brother's birthright. So now, Tamar is a widow twice. And Judah? He's scared. He thinks Tamar is cursed. He thinks, she's a black widow. If I give her my third son, Shelah, he'll die too. So he lies to her. He sends her away and says, just wait until Shelah grows up. But he never plans on bringing her back. Exactly. He ghosts her. He leaves her in limbo. She can't marry anyone else because she's technically betrothed, but he won't let her marry Shelah. She's trapped.
But Tamar, she doesn't stay trapped. And this is the part that shocked me. She takes matters into her own hands.
She sure does. She realizes the patriarch of the family has failed. The system has failed. So she decides to use the system against him. She hears Judah is coming to town for sheep shearing, which was like a big festival, lots of wine, lots of celebrating. And she dresses up as a prostitute. I mean, isn't that wrong? It's desperate. She's an outsider, a Canaanite woman, fighting for her place in the family of Abraham when the actual sons of Abraham have abandoned it. She sits at the city gate. Judah sees her. He doesn't recognize her because she's veiled, and he propositions her.
Which just shows how far Judah has fallen. He's cheating on his family values, literally.
He's hit rock bottom. He has no cash to pay her, so she asks for a pledge, a deposit. She asks for his signet ring, his cord, and his staff. Think of this like asking for his driver's license and his black Amex card. The signet ring was his signature. The staff was his symbol of tribal authority. He literally hands over his identity for a moment of gratification. He gave away his ID? That is careless. It's reckless. It mirrors Esau selling his birthright for a bowl of soup. Judah sells his identity for a night of pleasure. But Tamar? She keeps those items. She's playing the long game.
And then the reveal. 3 months later, Judah finds out she's pregnant, and he goes full judge and jury. Bring her out and let her be burned. The hypocrisy. He's the one who got her pregnant.
He doesn't know that yet. But yes, the hypocrisy is staggering. He is ready to execute her for the very sin he committed. But then, Tamar sends him a package, the ring, the cord, the staff, and she sends a note. By the man to whom these belong, I am pregnant. And she adds 2 words. Please recognize. Hakerna. Wait. Recognize. That's the same word the brothers used with the coat. Yes. Recognize this coat, Father. Now, recognize this ring, Judah. The deception has come full circle. Judah is staring at his own staff, his own ring, and he realizes he's been caught. In this moment, Steph, this is the pivot point of history. What does he do? He could have killed her to cover it up. He could have denied it, but he doesn't. He says 5 words that change his life. She is more righteous than I.
Wow. He admits it.
He admits that this foreign woman, acting out of desperation, cared more about the covenant family line than he did. It's his confession. It's the moment Judah stops running and starts turning back.
So this interruption, it's actually the story of Judah's conversion.
It's the story of how God saves the line of the Messiah through a mess. We usually think of the Bible as a book about good people doing good things. Genesis 38 says, no. It's about a faithful God saving broken people doing broken things.
And meanwhile, while Judah is dealing with this scandal, Joseph is in Egypt.
Joseph is in Egypt. And if you think Judah's situation was sticky, wait until you see what happens in Potiphar's house. Because while Judah was running toward temptation, Joseph is about to run away from it.
But that brings us to our next segment. We're going to take a quick break, and when we come back, we're going to talk about work, sexual harassment, and what it really means to prosper when your life is falling apart.
Don't go anywhere. We'll be right back. And we are back. Before the break, we left Judah in a mess of his own making in Canaan. Now, we jump cut to Egypt,
where things are arguably worse. Joseph is 17, alone, and on the auction block. He's bought by Potiphar, the captain of the guard.
Which means Joseph isn't just scrubbing floors. He enters the high-stakes world of Egyptian politics and household management. And right away, the text drops a word that stops me in my tracks.
I think I know which one. Verse 2. The Lord was with Joseph, and he was a successful man.
Successful, or prosperous, depending on your translation.
John, hold on. He's a slave. He has no rights, no pay, no freedom, and he can't even quit. In what universe is that successful? If I texted my friend and said, hey, I just got kidnapped and forced to work for free, I'm killing it right now, they would send help.
Right? They'd call the embassy. And this is where our modern definition of success crashes into the biblical one. We need to look at the Hebrew word here. It's Tsalach.
Tsalach. Sounds intense.
It is. It doesn't mean rich or comfortable. It literally means to push forward, to break out, or to advance. It's the kind of word you'd use for a river bursting through a dam or a soldier pushing through enemy lines.
So it's active. It's about momentum.
Exactly. Think of it this way. In our world, we view success like Mount Maslow. You know Maslow's hierarchy of needs?
Sure. Pyramid shape. Bottom is food and safety. Middle is relationships. Top is self-actualization, living your best life.
We think success is climbing that mountain. Once I'm safe, and I have money, and I'm the boss, then I'm successful. Joseph is at the bottom of the mountain. He has zero safety, zero status. But the Bible says he is salashing. He is prospering.
Because God is with him.
Because he realized that success isn't about your location on the pyramid. It's about your connection to the power source. You can be the CEO of a jail cell just as much as the CEO of a Fortune 500 company if God is advancing his purpose through you.
That is actually really freeing, because I think a lot of us feel like we're failing if we aren't the boss.
Exactly. Joseph learns to manage a household that isn't his for a master who owns him, and he does it with excellence. He becomes the overseer. He basically runs the estate. But then trouble walks in. Or rather, she's already there.
Potiphar's wife.
This is one of the first recorded instances of workplace sexual harassment in history. And Steph, we need to be clear about the power dynamic here.
Yeah, usually we hear this story as the temptress, like she's just trying to seduce him. But reading it again, she's the boss's wife. She holds the keys.
She holds his life. If he says yes, he betrays his master and his God. If he says no, she can destroy him. This isn't just about lust. It's about power. She pesters him day after day. It's relentless.
And Joseph's response is amazing. He doesn't just say, no, I might get caught. He says, how can I do this great wickedness and sin against God?
He appeals to a higher authority than Potiphar. But then comes the trap. The house is empty. She grabs him by his garment.
The garment again.
You noticed.
I did. In chapter 37, the brothers strip off his coat to fake his death. Now, Potiphar's wife strips off his cloak to fake an assault.
It's the recurring nightmare. Joseph must be thinking, not again. But look at what he does. He runs. He literally leaves the jacket in her hand and bolts.
He chooses to be naked and righteous rather than clothed and compromised.
That's it. That's the tweet. He loses his coat of management, the symbol of his status, to keep his integrity. And what does it get him?
A one-way ticket to prison.
He does the right thing, and his life gets worse.
Which is terrifying. We want to believe that if we follow God, we get the promotion. Joseph follows God and gets the dungeon.
But here is the modern mirror twist. Look at the end of the chapter, verse 21. But the Lord was with Joseph and showed him steadfast love. And then in verse 23,
the keeper of the prison paid no attention to anything that was in Joseph's charge because the Lord was with him. And whatever he did, the Lord made it succeed.
There is that word again, Tsalach. He is a prisoner now. He's gone from the pit to the slave quarters to the dungeon. He is sinking lower and lower, but the success rating remains 100%.
So, if you're listening and you feel like you're in a pit right now, maybe a job you hate, or a health crisis, or you've been treated unfairly, Joseph's story is saying, you don't have to wait until you get out to be successful.
Right. You can prosper right now in the dark if you are faithful with what is in your hand.
But John, we have to talk about the result. Joseph is in prison. Judah is free in Canaan. One looks like a hero, the other looks like a villain. But they are both about to become the fathers of the two most important tribes in Israel.
And that is where the genealogy comes in. Because when we turn the page to 1 Chronicles, we see how God takes the mess of Judah and the misery of Joseph and weaves them into something unbreakable.
It's the Scarlet Thread, and we're going to trace it all the way to Jesus right after this.
And we are back. Okay, Steph, we have covered the pit, the palace, the prison, and the incident with the prostitute.
It has been a heavy day.
It has. But now we have to land the plane, and we're going to land it in a place most people skip entirely. 1 Chronicles, chapter 2.
Oh, John, be honest. The genealogy? I love you, but my eyes glaze over. It's just so-and-so begat so-and-so.
I know. It looks like a phone book from 500 BC. But listen, in the ancient world, a genealogy isn't just a list of names. It's a trophy case. It's where you put your best, brightest, and most honorable ancestors to prove your pedigree.
Right. You want to list the war heroes and the kings.
Exactly. But look at 1 Chronicles 2, verse 3. Read that for me.
Okay. It says, the sons of Judah, Onan, and Shelah. And Judah's firstborn, was wicked in the sight of the Lord, and he put him to death.
And keep going. Verse 4.
Tamar also, his daughter-in-law, bore him Perez and Zerah.
Do you see what the chronicler just did? He didn't hide the family's shame. He put the scandal right at the top of the list.
He mentions was wicked, and he mentions Tamar. Everyone reading this knew how Tamar had those kids.
Exactly. This is the permanent record. And here is the core for today, Steph. The tribe of Judah, the tribe of King David, and eventually the tribe of Jesus, doesn't come from the good son.
It comes from the incestuous deception.
It comes from the mess. And specifically, it comes from Perez.
Remind me about the twins again, because that birth scene in Genesis 38 was chaotic.
It was. Tamar is giving birth to twins. The first one, Zerah, sticks his hand out. The midwife ties a scarlet thread around his wrist to mark him as the firstborn.
A scarlet thread. I feel like that color is important.
Crucial. It's the color of the blood of Passover. It's the color of the cord Rahab will hang from her window in Jericho. It's the color of atonement. But then Zerah pulls his hand back in, and his brother burst out first.
And the midwife names him Perez, which means the breach or the breakthrough.
Right. Perez disrupts the natural order, just like Jacob disrupted Esau, just like Joseph disrupted Reuben. The line of the Messiah is a line of breachers. God is constantly breaking through human tradition and human failure to establish his promise.
That connects back to what we said earlier. The interruption of Genesis 38 isn't an accident. It's the point.
It's the Scarlet Thread. Imagine the genealogy of Jesus is like a precious family heirloom. Let's say an antique smartphone passed down for centuries.
An antique smartphone? Okay, go with it.
Stick with me. You'd expect the device carrying the message of the king to be pristine, kept in a velvet box, no scratches. But when you look at the Judah model in Genesis 38, the screen is cracked, the battery is taped in, and it's been dropped in the mud.
It's broken.
It's shattered. Judah is a mess. Tamar is desperate. The family is dysfunctional. But when you press the power button, the signal comes through crystal clear.
The promise still works.
The promise works because the power doesn't come from the people. It comes from the God who chose them. The genealogy proves that God's plan is bulletproof. It can survive Judah's sin, and it can survive Joseph's suffering.
I love that. It means my mess isn't too big for God to weave into his story.
And your pit isn't too deep for God to prosper you in.
You know, looking at these two brothers side by side, Joseph and Judah, they are complete opposites.
They are. Joseph is the innocent sufferer. He suffers for doing the right thing. Judah is the guilty sinner. He is redeemed despite doing the wrong thing.
And we need both, don't we?
We do. We need Joseph to show us how to trust God in the pain. And we need Judah to show us how to find grace in the guilt. And ultimately, both of them point us to Jesus.
How so?
Jesus is the true Joseph, the beloved son who was sold for silver, stripped of his robe, and thrown into the pit of death to save the very brothers who betrayed him.
And he is the Lion of the tribe of Judah,
Who took the scarlet thread of our sin and turned it into the cord of our salvation.
Wow. Okay. That changes how I see the boring list of names.
It's all there, Steph. Every name is a testimony.
Well, that brings us to the end of day 14. John, what's our takeaway for the listener today?
The takeaway is this. God is working in the split screen. Maybe you feel like Joseph today. You're doing everything right, but everything is going wrong. You're in the pit. Or maybe you feel like Judah. You've made a mess of your life. You're running from God, and you feel disqualified.
Wherever you are, the story isn't over.
Exactly. If you're in the pit, remember Tsalach. God is with you, prospering your soul even in the dark. And if you're in the mess, remember the Scarlet Thread. God's grace is weaving a redemption story that you can't even see yet.
I love that. Tomorrow, we are back in Egypt. Joseph has been in prison for a while, and things are about to get weird. We're talking dreams, cows, and a sudden promotion.
Can't wait. We'll see you tomorrow for day 15.
Bye. That's a wrap on today's podcast. Thank you all so much for joining us and diving deep with us.
We truly value your time and love walking through these chapters together. Your support means the world.
If you've enjoyed this episode, hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on notifications so you never miss a day. Drop a comment below. We'd absolutely love to hear how Modern Mirrors is opening your eyes to the text in fresh ways.
Join us tomorrow for another inspiring journey into the Word of the Lord. Until then, God bless you abundantly.